you already know, we are going to be doing Zair's hair today for Takeover Tuesdays. Of course, I was doing my nails and he needed his hair done, which is how it always goes in this house. And since it's Takeover Tuesday, I kind of got to give him what he wants. So I'm going to go ahead and do his hair. He is getting some ASAP Rocky-ish braids with a twist for me. And stop doing weird shit to your hair, man. Come say hi.
Hi.
He's so corny. Anyway, I'm not gonna be doing much talking. I'm getting straight into braiding, so here we go. So we start off using Murray's Beeswax, Taliah Waajid, moisturizing cream, and the Super Holeless Jam. You'll see me all through this process correcting parts, and I just like to make sure my parts are crisp and well defined. It just makes the hair look a lot more maintained, especially for a boy. I use the Taliah Waajid moisturizing cream on all of his hair because this is a long-term style for him, and I definitely want to make sure his hair stays moisturized in these braids, especially because I'm using other products that I don't really use normally with his hair, but you'll see me use it throughout the process. You'll see the white all over his hair every time. So right here I just have it on speed because I'm doing the very small part, which is the sides and the back, and I try not to spend a lot of time showing this because it's just box braids. They're all in a box, and I basically take the box and I make it a rectangle, so I just braid a line straight down the boxes. Very simple. You'll also see after each braid that I am rubbing my fingers down the braid. That's to make sure I get all of the flyaways. I want to make sure they're all incorporated. He doesn't have many because his hair is pretty much all the same length, but he does have a few. And so that jam super hole, I make sure I slide it down the length of the braid. It also gives a really nice shine, and that's definitely what I'm looking for. I'm wanting to show a close-up of the braid and how they look. So although they are square boxes, I am braiding straight down the square of the box. And you'll see as I braid, I actually, on the ends of his hair behind his ears, I actually slant that part up slightly. And I think you can see it better here, but I slant that part up slightly. That way it's angled, so it's not just going straight down. It's kind of slanting inward. And it kind of just helps define the parts so that you can see them better, but that's just what works for me, and they come out great. So yeah, I just use what works. I'm not braiding very tight, but his scalp is still turning red. It always does that, so if you see the redness of his scalp, don't worry about it. It's not tight at all. Even though the braids are tight, I don't pull on his hair, so you'll see him talking to me throughout the whole ordeal, and he never makes a face or anything. And trust me, if it hurts, he will tell me. So no, it doesn't hurt, but any type of manipulation to his scalp for an extended period of time, it turns red. So now you can see there are 3 rows in the back, and I do them all exactly the same, which I'm taking a box braid and I'm braiding straight down the box. All the parts are completely even. I am a stickler for that, just to make sure they're nice and neat, and you know, very tidy. Just works for me. I love how it looks. The definition it gives his hair, it looks amazing. So in case you're wondering, on the back of my hand, again, that is the wax, as well as, which is white, and the green is the jam. And I keep it on the back of my hand so I don't have to keep reaching for it, so it just works. These braids are coming along very seamlessly. His hair has been freshly washed, deep conditioned, and this is how it is afterwards. So we just kind of banded it down so it'll stretch out a bit and not be so curly. And his hair and the straightness of it right now is what we end up as with as our end result. So this is the middle part that I put in his hair. When we first start doing it, I did start off with the middle part because I wanted to make sure I can find the middle of his hair. And I opened up that part a bit so that I can add that second braid in there. So that's me parting the middle braid. So he has a middle braid now. Although these are ASAP Rocky-ish braids, I do like to kind of make them my own. So this is like a tribal look that I do with the center part, and then you'll see base braids going under the braids, which you'll see coming up soon. Now, I did braid this very slow. I don't know why, just kind of in my mood and braiding very slow. So this is real time right here, y'all. I was braiding extremely slow and he knew it, so you can kind of see the expression on his face. He just kind of staring at this face right now, but I'm braiding extremely slow. He's a bit taller than me and he's sitting in this chair, and it's just making my job a little bit harder. So I'm not sure what was going on in my head as I'm trying to braid what I can't see, but I guess I made it happen, so I won't complain. Any day now, I'll be finished this braid. I don't know what was going on, y'all. I'm sorry. I could have kind of sped through this, but it is a part of the process, and some braids take longer than others. It just so happened that I could not see this braid, so this is how it went down, y'all. Like I said, I add the white cream, and this is me just basically combing out his hair, because once I put in a top knot, it gets all tangled together. But yeah, it's not hard to detangle. So here is the other tribal braids. I'm adding them to the sides, and I like the braids very tight. So instead of pulling on his scalp to make it tight, basically I just make the pieces that I pull smaller, and I'm able to control it better and tighten it as I need, and it works. It is a very tight braid without all of the pain that goes with it. I'm not rushing it. I'm just allowing the braid to move as it needs to while I pull the small pieces into the braid, and it always comes out perfect when I do that. So that's a cute little tip for you. If there's a style that anyone want to see me do on one of the boys' hair, let me know down below in the comments, and it'll also give me ideas of what I can do with their hair. Keep in mind their hair is well past their bum, a couple of them anyway, and it does take a little while to braid. So I will tell you that these braids in total took me about an hour and a half to braid, and that's with changing camera angles and everything. I think the time is pretty good. Yeah, hour and a half is not bad for everything together. So it works too. So I'm gonna braid for a bit. Just sit back and enjoy the show. For the braids on the top, I just made the boxes a little bit bigger and there will be less braids on the tops, but it will work out just fine. Just watch me. These particular braids that are in the very front of his head, I'm braiding them going backwards because his hair is really long. And if I don't braid it going backwards, it falls forward into his face. So it just makes sense to braid going backwards. So right here is my last braid on this side, and it's more facing the back. I'm just going to duplicate everything I do on this side on the other side so that they look identical and nice and smooth. So that's what I'm working on now, to make sure all the parts are the same size all the way around his head. As you can see, I really just do one swipe and my part is just about perfect. I don't have to kind of go over it multiple times, and I do make sure that I add the jam, which straightens my part perfectly every time. I'm hoping here you can kind of see how I have to braid his hair in order. I have to lift and pull his hair into the braid because I only want to catch a little bit at a time as I braid downwards. So I have to lift his hair up into my hands, and that's what kind of keeps me making the braids extremely tight without pulling his hair. So that works as well for him because he's very tender-headed. If you made it this far, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell to continue to support me. And this is the last braid. It ended up being a triangle in the back between that main braid that goes straight down his hair. So it's perfect. Everything fit just the way I wanted it. And it looks amazing. Look how silky and shiny those braids look. I love it. Yeah, it came out great. As I'm finishing up this last braid, please go ahead again and leave me a comment if there's any other styles you want me to do. This is his final results. I appreciate you all, and in the meantime, I'll see you in between time. Bye.